Hey guys, what's up? I have a lot of Zerg buddies who have issue with ZVZ. I'm here today to try and alleviate that problem. I'm gonna try and make a series of videos that kind of break down how Zerg versus Zerg works. Let's just get one thing straight. I am a Diamond Zerg. I am by no means a Day 9 or any other pro player, but I do watch a lot of games, and I can't actually emphasize enough how much I watch, and how many streams I watch, how much of analysis crap, how many streams I watch, how many first plays, how many replays I watch. What I'm trying to get across here is I do know my way around this game quite a bit, even though I wasn't around in StarCraft 1. That doesn't really apply to this. But either way, you're in safe hands here. So, today I bring you this opener. A lot of Zergs tend to go 14 gas, 14 pool, which is a really nice build for ZVZ. But I feel that they don't actually understand why they're doing it. They're just kind of told to do it, and they don't like, sure, I'll do it. What the fuck not? So I'm gonna try and bring you a build order that I can explain why it works and why it's effective and how it helps you. So the build order kind of goes like this. I say kind of because it is Zerg and everything variates, but you go 14 pool, 16 Overlord, 16 Hatchery, 16 Extractor. And once your spawning pool finishes, you want one pair of Lings, and you want to send them straight to the enemy's base. You want a Queen as soon as possible, and you also want a Spine Crawler as soon as possible. And also a Baneling Nest as soon as possible. So that's pretty much the build order in a nutshell. We'll try to break it down on why it works. There's going to be 2 more sections to this video, not in a separate video, but in the same video, just in different circumstances how it works. But the first pair of Lings, they scout the enemy base. That's pretty much all they do. They doesn't really matter what they do. What they're here to see, they're here to see the natural timing, how much gas has been mined, if there's any big gas been mined, and what tech path is going. They're going. Also, this build is very defensive, so Overlord positioning is really essential to this build, or to any kind of defensive build of Zerg. So my first pair of Lings have scouted that there's an attack incoming. What this tells me, I just need to build units. That's pretty much all it is. As simple as his hatchery is later than mine, therefore he has to attack, or else he's going to be behind in drones or behind in economy. So this is his way to, like, how should I say, his way to fight back and get even. And he probably did get pretty even in this, even though he probably got even in that moment, but because I have lots of lava capability, I can get ahead super fast, very fast. 2 queens and 2 hatcheries can make a lot of lava, and a lot of lava make a lot of drones. I've got an Overlord at the back of his base, and I've got an Overlord in front of his ramp. Their place there, pretty importantly, the back of the base allows me to see, back of the mineral line should I say, so it allows me to see how many drones he's got, and if he's taking the gas. That's pretty much that Overlord's. That's the only service that Overlord's there for. The Overlord in front of the natural just tells me if he's attacking and how much he's committing by, and what I need to do in order to re-attack to ensure my survival. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Once you've got those Overlords in positions, all you need is you need about 2-3 Overlords in front of your own natural, just to make sure that your enemy is not doing anything crazy. You need to know if he's like putting banelings anywhere or any sneaky shit. Anything, just common defensive rules of Zerg. Now I'm going to be taking you to the build order goes like this: 14 pool, 16 Overlord, 16 hatchery, 16 extractor. Once the spawning pool finishes, first pair of Lings, send them to his base, Queen as soon as possible, Spine Crawler as soon as possible, Baneling Nest as soon as possible. take 1 drone off gas, so you only have 2 drones in the extractor. You will have 3 spare lava at the end of this build order. Spend 2 of those on drones. Depending on what you scout, use the last pair for either drones or zerglings. Okay, so here's the second game. I've done you the liberty of skipping the build order section of the game. Right now, we're just going to go through what I think when I scout and how I'm going to react. So with the Overlord, I already see that he hasn't got a natural expansion up, so instead of spending those 3 extra lava I tend to have on drones, I'm going to spend it on Lings, just to be extra safe, because I know he hasn't built anything economic-wise. Because it's on 1 base, you can only tell that he's either going to be teching on 1 base or making an army on 1 base. I see the evolution chamber, and that tells me that it's going to be a timing attack of some sort. I didn't click the extractor, and I really should have, because that gas count could have really taught me a lot. I saw the spawning pool wiggle, so I know it was Zerglings. He spent his money into Zerglings. So I know it's either going to be a Zergling Baneling attack or a Zergling Roach attack. Zergling Roach timing attack, or Zergling Baneling timing attack, should I say. So this is giving me time to get an extra spine crawler. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a spine crawler in my main base, just to make sure it's safe. I'm not going to put my natural, just because I don't want to risk it being sniped by Banelings or any other Lings. So once it's done, I'm just going to walk it down. What you're witnessing right now is the Overlord dying. This is like really bad for me. Luckily, I was able to get lucky and replace the Overlord, but replace the Overlord with something else that could do its job. As I said earlier, the importance of our Overlord is to know when he's expanded, or even in this case to scout what units are coming to my base. And with that dead, I'm in the dark right now. I don't know. But either way, he still has to attack because he's still going to be behind in hatcheries. So I'm going to keep making units just to be safe. Just to be extremely safe. Even if he was droning up off 1 base, he still would be behind. So I'm not even too worried about that. Although I could do some more drones. Who knows, I have a lot of lava but I can't spend. Maybe at some point in this game I should have thrown on a creep tomb instead of the lava inject, but hey ho, we'll live and we learn. So I'm going to send these Zerglings out to see if, just scout his natural to see when he's putting down a base. Okay, so here's the attack. I see a bunch of Lings. That tells me that's definitely going to be, Ling Bling, so it's going to be a Ling Bling plus 1 timing attack. It was really bad of me to put my Banelings, to morph my Banelings right in front of the spine crawlers. As you see right there, I lost so much right there. And I have to replace those units with something else, which is a shame. But either way, I hold. So I've held his first wave, and I'm sending my Zergling up there to his natural just to see what's going on. If I scout a hatchery, if I'm just going to drone up a little bit, well, I can't drone up at this point because I wasted those 6 Banelings, those 6 Baneling eggs. Really, I should have had those alive, and they'll be able to serve me, and I would have been able to drone up safely, but now I can't. So there's this hatchery. Oh, and I see an extra drone. So that tells me this pressure is either over, or it's going to be so much weaker than it should have been. So I am safe to drone. I have enough units to survive any attack right now. And this is the point where I win the game. Well, I win the early game. I'm going to tell you guys that I lost this game in the end because I wasn't scouting very well. What happened was that he, rather than using the 2 extra hatcheries that he... Alrighty, so here we go. The final part of the 14 pool, 14 gas, 14 pool, 16 hatchery. Sorry, I'm so used to using the 14 gas, 14 pool build. But this is the final part. I've skipped the intro, the starting section because you don't need to do that again. You just need to see what I'm doing and how I'm reacting. And the reason why this build, one of the big reasons why this build is so great is because of these Zerglings right here. They're scouting everything. They're allowing me to react perfectly. I'm able to see that he's got an evolution chamber up. He's on 1 gas. I believe I clicked on the gas to see how much he mined, or I should have at least, so I know what's coming to some degree. And because I was able to scout that he's going evolution chamber, I'm able to throw down more spine crawlers. Usually, if they're not going evolution chamber and they're in 1 base, an attack will come so much earlier that you won't be able to put down spine crawlers because it'll be a waste of money and the attack will come so early you won't be able to hold it. But because I was able to scout the evolution chamber, I was able to make this decision of getting more spine crawlers to hold his one base attack. Yay, scouting! I've also, speaking of scouting, I've also got an Overlord at the back of his base, which is looking at his gas. As you can see right there, he's on one gas, so I know he's not like teching on one base to like go to the lair or something crazy. And it's also, because of his map, I'm able to see that his natural, which is ironic because he doesn't actually have a natural expansion. So this tells me that I need to keep making units. I shouldn't be making drones at this point. I should keep making lings and blings, mainly blings. Blings are cool. I've got spine crawlers, so I don't really need the DPS of a ling. I just need the Baneling in order to kill mass units. Sweet. He hasn't attacked yet because he's getting a +1 of some sort. So sweet. I don't need to. What was I going to say there? I can't remember what I was going to say there. I can guarantee people that it wasn't important, but it wasn't important at all. He hasn't attacked yet. He hasn't attacked yet. He hasn't attacked yet. That means he's still he's waiting for his +1. That's just confirmed the fact. I mean, we knew he was going to do that anyway, but you know, some people are idiots and they would attack before the +1, just to, like, completely fuck with your mind. Sweet. So here's the attack. Yay, overall positioning. I'm able to see what he's up to. So here comes here comes the scarier part of the games. Although really, I shouldn't be scared of this at all. I just need to be cost effective here, and I'll be ahead. Sweet. Hoo-hee. I should be making roaches at this point, or making something. There's a good reason why I'm not. No, I'm not kidding, there's not a good reason, it's because I'm supply blocked. Roaches right now would be so good because of the banelings. And that probably wouldn't have happened. Now the reason why I'm putting down 2 more spine crawlers is because I'm able to see his natural expansion. Not natural expansion, but outside of his natural, his ramp essentially. And I see that he actually hasn't rallied any units. So that tells me I have enough time to get spine crawlers out. I should be morphing banelings at this point because, well, I should be anyway, because he's still on one base. So there's his units. He's coming out with just lings, so I know that these spine crawlers have enough time. Because he'll be an idiot to attack with just lings. He needs lings and banelings. And banelings take 20 seconds, and these spine crawlers have less than 20 seconds to be completed. So it's all good. Good times, good times. So here he comes. Well, that's just one ling. Just look at the power of the +1 on that ling. That ling has like 15 HP, I want to say it has. Ow. And so, you know, the +1 on lings is actually really, really good. It's +1 melee, by the way, not +1 carapace. I can't remember when I clicked, but I do remember. Alright, I see this ling here. I don't want any stealth banelings killing my drone, so I'm going to try and lure him out into the spine crawlers. I supply blocked again. I still don't see his units, but I know those blings out somewhere. He still hasn't taken his natural expansion, and he still hasn't gotten his second gas. So I know he's not on lair, and I know he's still massing units. So what does this allow me to do? This allows me to, well, because I was able to hold the first stack, I was able to drone up, and because I was able to drone up, that's giving me more room to get gas. And with that gas, I'm going to go lair. Why am I going lair? Because he hasn't got lair. I'm thinking of my transition at this point. I need to hold this attack. I don't need any more drones. I don't really need any more drones. Although more drones would be nice. But oh, that explosion. Because he's on one base and because he's on one gas, he's not going to have lair. And so my plan is here to go +1 speed roaches with burrow as my counter attack. But Cain, your Mutalisk versus one base Zerg is not very effective. You can't kill, the only thing you'll be able to do is kill, like, Overlords, unless he doesn't suspect it. But when you're playing games, you shouldn't rely on gimmicks like that. You shouldn't rely on your opponent not scouting. You should just rely on real tactics like this, which would be and say the reason why I want roaches. The reason why roaches on one base versus one base is really, really good, because if you have two bases, you usually have an economic lead, and therefore you're able to, how am I going to say this? You're able to keep rallying roaches. That you have to make more roaches than he can, at a crazier rate. So there comes to a point where he won't be able to, if he was to keep rallying roaches into his base, or just in general, and you're on two bases and he's on one, there's going to be a point where he can't actually hold on. There's going to be a point where he just outright dies, because he doesn't have the economy that you do, and you also have more lava than he does, which is sweet. Now you might be looking at this position saying like, "Oh, Cain, you're fucked, you're fucked." No, actually, I'm actually really, really far ahead at this point. Even though he has more roaches than I do, and it's just not my roach run. Ooh, my roach run. What do you fucking do that? It takes like 50 seconds to rebuild. But because he's this might look like a scary position, but it's really, really not. Why? Because I've got burrow. I got burrow, bitch. And you haven't got lair. How do I know he doesn't have lair? Because he hasn't taken the second gas. That's why. That's how I know. And that's how I win the game, pretty much. But that's the transition now of it, at least. Because he hasn't got lair, he hasn't been able to get mobile detection, and he can't get another base. He can't get his natural up. So if I was to keep rallying roaches, which I would have done, he would have died. There's nothing he could have done, and he would have just perished eventually. So let's go over why this build is so great versus in ZVZ. If they go 14 gas, 14 pool, which is like the most common build in ZVZ, you'll be so far ahead because you'll have a hatchery so much faster than he does that he's forced to put on pressure. And because you've skipped Zerging speed, you have a lot of banelings, and because you have a spine crawler, you have to hold that pressure very, very well. Like, there's not much he can really do to kill you with 14 gas, 14 pool. What else is really good against? It's really, really good against 6 pool, actually, because if you ever held it, you know how easy it is to hold a 6 pool with 14 gas, 14 pool. Well, it's not easy, but you can do it. Well, your pool's gonna be a little bit faster, so you can have a little. Your Lings will be out faster, and your spine crawlers will be out faster, defending against 6 pool. So it's really, really good against early pools. Like really, really good. What else is it good? What else is it good for? It's really, really good against one base play, as we've just seen. It's really. I think that's like, I can't think of any other Zerg versus Zerg builds there are. 15 hatchery, 14 gas, 13 pool. That's really, really good against that because you've skipped Zerging speed and he hasn't. So he's just gonna die. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. It's a really, really good build. The reason why you die if you went 15 hatch 14 pool is because you have an economic lead, and you don't have a tech lead, but he has a tech lead, but he can't put that tech he's invested into use versus you. The only time when this build's not very good is the reason why this build's not very good against, well, not against anything, is let me try and rephrase this. There's a few exploits to this build. You don't have Zerging speed, therefore you cannot punish somebody who's taking like the gold base or taking extra bases, because you don't have that kind of map control. You are forfeiting map control for more drones, which is very anti-Zerg-like, but that's how the build works. And I say it's anti-Zerg-like because in Zerg versus, not Zerg versus Zerg, but Zerg in general, you want map control to safely get units, safely get drones. So you kind of flip them upside on its head, which is pretty cool. What was this good against? But horrible against. Yeah, other than like Zerg other Zerg doing something crazy like getting more hatcheries than you are, that's like the only thing they can do. I've seen, I'm sure there is exploits. I've only played this using this build like 12 or so times, so I haven't got that much experience, but because of this build, I actually haven't, in my early game, I have never fallen behind in my early game. My early game is so good now, not because of the build essentially. This build is so good in the early game that it usually just outright wins you the game if they attack, or even if they expand. You can be heading drones somewhere, or tech. That's about it. If they expand and they don't attack, and you have you can scout that, then you're usually not so far ahead, but you can probably tech to Mutalisk. That's what I do. If my enemy expands and doesn't attack, I just take straight to Mutalisks, get map control, deny his third, and get my third and get upgrades. Not for my Mutalisk, but for my ground army. I want to talk about in my next video. I want to talk about how Mutalisks are very good, but not many Zergs know how to use them in this situation. So I want to go over how Mutalisks work in ZVZ. But that's another video for another time. Anything else I want to say before I take off? There's not much I can think of. No? Take it easy, guys. Thanks for listening.